next time.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to start that all over again because I thank you, Dar, for reminding me to hit record.
Sure, honey.
Okay. So if you're watching this live or on replay, my name is Amanda Rebecca. And if you don't recognize my face, and I am graciously trying to do my best to step in for Debbie tonight, who's amazing at these. So treat me nice because I'm not Debbie. She's amazing. And I'm just over here trying to keep it together. So what I was saying before I hit the record button was we didn't really have anything formal to put together from Leader Summit. If you didn't know, we some of us leaders on the team were in Florida over the weekend with home office, getting some training, learning some things, and just kind of getting a projection really for what's to come with Color Street, a lot of which was already shared, like in the Ignite call, was it Ignite? I don't remember. I feel like it was, but maybe not. Towards the beginning of the year where they shared kind of what was coming in the next year. So we heard some of those same things. And then some details that, we can share with you guys. And then I just hope that you promise there's some things that we can't, but that we are really excited about, and we will share when we absolutely can. But I will say, I know I left there pretty excited, in terms of just thinking about what the company is doing moving forward. So we didn't have anything formal really to put together for tonight. I'm going to share a little kind of thing as we go through some of these first initial pieces that we normally do in our monthly team meetings. But I would just say, get a little notebook handy. We're going to share some ideas maybe that aren't necessarily like, things that we learned at Leader Summit, but maybe some ideas that resonated with us. And just from our brief little chat, many of us got together and ended up going our separate ways yesterday. But just kind of some ideas and some, I would say some common threads of what we thought were our takeaways in terms of what are some things that we can move forward with as a team and really make this year incredible. So that's kind of my plan. It's nothing too formal. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick and just kind of go through, because I want to start out with recognition, of course, because that's the best way. Just know you can put anything in the chat. I've already seen some things going in the chat. There's lots of leaders on the call that can monitor the chat as well and answer questions. Any one of us can answer any questions that we possibly can. And then also feel free to unmute yourself. There'll definitely be hopefully some time for, some questions from you guys as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share. We'll see what even pops up here on my screen. All right, so I'm going to try to get this thing going here. And present full screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Why isn't it doing this? Autoplay. I'm going to go back here. Share. Present.
Hey, Amanda, you
I'm
should be
missing
able to.
a button. Is that why?
You should be able to share it with that
Oh.
link that there.
Does this work?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I don't know. You know what? I got all these bars showing and they're all blocking my buttons. And so you guys probably can't see the bars, but could see the buttons. Jeez, oh Pete's. Okay. All right. Anywho, March meeting, right? We're in March. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember what month it is anymore. Okay, so just anytime you guys, and this is just a great reminder, I know every time we sit in a session, anytime we do something online, leader calls, or I know Tuesday trainings, they do this. It's just always good to make sure you're open about our earnings statement. Anytime you mention something, we didn't spend a lot of time this weekend with compliance, but as we know, that's always something, that's in our training. Is just ways to really make sure that you're sharing, that we want everybody to share the business. We want everybody to share their story with Color Street, and even somebody else's story. I know I borrow other people's stories to share. So just think about that. as you're, sharing with people, just making sure that you're giving them a link, or when you're making a post about earning something, it's always just a good idea. You don't have to share this thing, but there's links that they give us. So, all right. Here we go. So let's start with some shout outs. I wanted to kind of go through the different levels and just put in the chat or unmute yourself. Let's do the chat right now. Type in the chat right now your name. If you hit, and I know some of you guys are on phones, it's a little more difficult, but if you were a qualified stylist or beyond. So if you sold 150 in PV or above that, go ahead and drop your name in the chat. I want to see everybody's names who hit 150 PV. I'm trying really hard to say PV and not USD, because I know that's for everybody. So 150 PV, I see a lot of names coming in. Yay. All right. What about 300, right? So that's when we earn that 25% commission. Same thing. Drop your name in the chat, cheer on other people. Feel free to unmute yourself too, because I feel like I can't even see the chat. It's not as fun for me. So go ahead and unmute yourself and clap if you at least hit 300. I see a lot of claps. All right, what about 600? So 600 is enhanced commission, right? So we've got our qualified level at 150, right? Then we start to move up in income at 300. And then we have 600, which is, I guess 300 is probably considered enhanced commission now, but 600 is that next level of enhanced commission. So drop your name if you hit that. All right, how about 1200? I see a lot of names coming in. 1200. Let's do 1200. Let's say if you hit between 1200 and 1799. How many of you guys are in there? I hope you guys are cheering each other on. I have a hard time looking at all the different things at once. All right, what about 1800? And beyond? How many of you guys were over and maxed out the compensation plan at 1800 PV? Yay, I see some people clapping, yay.
No, not me, but clapping for you.
We'll clap for them. It wasn't me either, but I'm cheering for everybody else. All right, how about enrolling? How many of you guys enrolled somebody to the business? I know we had a really fantastic kit deal of $79, so that may have helped. But we did talk a lot about enrolling this weekend as well. So always like to hear who is anybody's first meeting? I didn't even have a slide for this. Anybody's first meeting? I'm trying to scroll through here, see if I can see any hands. It's too hard for me to scroll.
Stacy, Belinda, first meeting.
Belinda, yay!
And Stacy.
Yay, congrats. I see more hands up. Congratulations. Way to show up, you guys. It's even on Zoom. I remember, going to my first meetings. I started back in 2017, and I remember being so nervous, even on Zoom. I'm still nervous. I still get nervous to do meetings. All right. So yay, if you enrolled somebody, yay. If you are new to the business, welcome. You guys, this year is going to be truly exciting. I really feel like, I don't know. I really feel like this year is going to be a great year. So, okay. All right. Next thing, I did not want to forget about this. How many of you guys earned the beauty bonus? So that was 500 PV in January and February. Ooh, all right, I see some virtual hands raised. Dana, yay. See some familiar faces on here. All right, yay. Okay, so just so you guys know, there were 6,925 earners. And we are somewhere in the 50,000+ range, 60,000 range in stylists. So that's a pretty awesome group to be in if you were able to earn that PV and earn that incentive. So just so you know, we had heard there that they were packaged and about to be shipped, close to being shipped.
I thought they said they were shipping as they spoke. Like at one point, Lisa said they're being shipped.
Sure did.
She did. All right.
Yep. So they should be coming to you if you earned one very, very soon.
From Lisa's lips to their ears. I always get nervous. I feel like I hear, but it should be very, very soon. I know they were working to get those out. We're going to
Is
talk
that
about
6,000? Is that just on our Beautifully Polished or the whole company?
the whole company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that. How many people we get on Beautifully Polished these days?
I would probably say my guess would be about 2,200 if I had to
Okay.
guess. So,
Okay.
which is
Yeah, we
just
don't have no
over
6,000 yet.
2,000.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, yeah, we're not quite there yet, but we will, right? We will,
Cool.
we will definitely
will.
get there. But you guys, obviously I'm going to share, we're going to talk a little bit about the cheeks later, you know, and what we have. And, we're able to get some of the product already in our hands, and got to test a little bit out. So that was really exciting, but I do think, you know, overall, those of us that were able to try it out, we're pretty darn excited by it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. I just wanted to see who all was on here that earned it. So congratulations. Like I said, you guys, I know my goal always is to earn everything the company offers. I don't always hit it. Like, I'm not going to earn this trip. It's my very first trip that I have not earned with Color Street that they've put out, other than a gemstone trip, if you count that. But, you know, I know that I push for every single thing that they're offering, even maxing out the compensation plan, even, you know, those are the levels that I like to hit, because, you know, especially if they're offering something like this, where we get to try, and as we expand our brand, you know, getting these things in your hands ahead of customers is super valuable. Even if it's not your thing, I think it's really valuable. Okay, so let's move on here. So I just wanted to share a little picture of us. Again, nothing too formal. I don't even know if everybody's in here. I literally just grabbed one off my phone. We did not take as many pictures, I feel like, as we normally do, or at least on my phone. I didn't feel like it. Maybe they're on someone else's phone. But one of the really fun things they did at Leader Summit this weekend, this is just so you, or maybe brand new, this is the third Leader Summit. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, they put, it's changed because our ranks have changed. So excuse me, but I don't know all of the codes yet. Maybe one of you guys can help me out. Who was there? Was it Gold's Leader and above, or not?
Anybody who had hit
Over?
platinum leader or above in 2022.
Okay, so platinum leader and above, which is the old senior director. I hate to say
Yes.
old terms for those of you who are, but we've changed some names. So if you're new, it doesn't matter to you and you're never going to know the old names. But for us, some of us have these things stuck in our head. So they have had 3. They had one just before COVID essentially in 2020, that a few of us attended, that was in San Antonio. And then we had a Leader Summit last year in February, which was to the Bahamas. And then this year was in the Fort Lauderdale / Hollywood area. And it was super fun. But, you know, set a goal today to get on one of these trips with Color Street, because they really do it up. I mean, this is my one and only company, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I do have my day job of being a teacher. And I can tell you right now, it's not like the one lunch a year that we get, you know, for Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's definitely totally different for
You
me.
want to tell them where it is next year?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say you could.
Oh, you go.
It's in San Diego, California, in Mission Bay or Mission Beach. I can't remember which one, but it's the week of February 8th next year, the weekend of February 8th next year. So Mission Bay or Mission Beach, San Diego.
Yep. And there were obviously we're going to talk about what's coming in March here in a minute, but obviously we're growing, right? We're expanding into Germany is our stop this month. We've expanded into Canada. I see some Canadian faces on here. But there were French speaking bilingual stylists there, or at least bilingual stylists. I talked to some, so I'm gonna, I know some of our team here is bilingual or primarily French speaking. And then they're also working on even just more and more, what did they call it, you guys? Is it remember, instead of translate, what was the word?
Trans creation, was it?
Yes, trans creation. So that was
I
actually
think it was transcultural. Isn't it
trans.
transcultural?
I thought it was trans creation. I could be wrong. though.
Okay, probably
I
wrong.
have no idea.
We're also tired from this weekend.
Mhm.
I did write it down, but I got a lot of notes I got to go through. But anyways, what it means is they really, really, really want to get people who are creating for specific cultures, not just translating from English to Spanish or English to French or English to now, German. So they are really working to even create assets that are more directed to different cultures and just expanding the just the vibe we're putting out that we are an all-inclusive company is really one of the main things that I had gotten from some of the training that we had this weekend, that is a for sure goal of the company. And I know that made me very happy. I know it's gonna make a lot of our teammates happy and you guys on the call happy. So that was one of my big takeaways. So we're going to get into, and each of us are going to kind of share some of our takeaways in a little bit, but I know that was something I was really excited about, just because it's needed. We know it's needed. Even culturally, what works in Canada doesn't necessarily work in the US. And, and that's what we're learning and going through some of these growing pains as a company. So I'm really glad that that's in their forefront. So that was one of the things, but it's just fun to be with everybody, no matter what, any trip I've ever been on. The community is my favorite part. The times we get to just chat with each other and those types of things are always some of my biggest takeaways. So like I said, in just a little bit, we'll each kind of share. I see there's a few of us on the call who were there this weekend. So just a couple things I wanted to go over, just some of the things I already mentioned, but obviously we've got our autoimmune awareness that had launched just before. And if you're newer and you're not familiar with all of the partnerships that the foundation has, different areas that we've, companies that we've partnered with or different causes that we've supported, go into that tab. It really is awesome. And you guys, that is a selling point too. And that might even be why some of you guys joined. Maybe there was a campaign that you had taken a look at and noticed. But just the philanthropic, I don't know how to say that word. Philanthropic, I don't know. Anyways, it's really awesome. And they've been so consistent with that. I love the nail shade for autoimmune awareness. It's honestly been one of my favorites in a while, but just take a look at that. And it might be something that it's just nice to reach out to people, not for a sale, but it's nice for people to know that companies have that piece and are supporting some of the same causes that they already support, even if it's not about buying the nail strip, but just kind of sharing culturally what Color Street's all about. We've got, obviously, I think it's New Wave this month, or no? What's this month's subscription box?
Hidden treasure.
Hidden Treasure?
Well, you mean like the one they're subscribing for April?
It's
Okay,
New Wave.
this month,
Wave.
what's
Yeah.
this month's?
New
Hidden
Wave.
treasure.
Hidden Treasure?
Hidden Treasure is March.
That's the one we should be getting soon.
Okay. And then New Wave is what we're subscribing for next month.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
It's confusing, right? Like people are getting this box and we're promoting a new
Yeah.
box. But I know one of the things I talked about was creating some better graphics to promote the box. That was one of the things that I also heard over the weekend, which is exciting because again, this is brand new. Like this for sure is a work in progress. And right now, as of last month, there were just over 41,000 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. And again, that's company wide. And just as a reminder, everybody earns 25 PV. So, right, like, starting with 4 subscribers a month is going to get you 100 PV. So that's really nice because that's some of that reoccurring income that you can be getting with people who are really starting to like the boxes, and they're definitely tweaking them. And some are hit or miss. I think just like any subscription box for you personally, we were talking on the trip, some of our favorites and some of the things we haven't liked as much in the boxes. And it was interesting to talk to other people and have them be like, I really liked that one. And I was like, but I loved some other ones that they didn't necessarily like. So I think that's what's important when we're marketing is, it really is something that we all talked about. We're trying things that normally we wouldn't buy ourselves. And that's kind of the point of it, is to try some different things. And I think Color Street's going to come up with some concepts, and I think they already have, with some of the colored overlays that, that they eventually probably want to push out in collections, but, kind of trying it through this way and getting feedback. So I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, that's, something to think about in March. And then, of course,
Amanda, one question on that subscription box.
yeah, go ahead.
What is their advice when their credit cards are getting declined? Like I had 2 new subscribers sign up for this month's box. And they both of their credit cards got declined, and they had just ordered like 2 days before. So it's not the credit card. I'm not understanding what is the problem.
I don't know, because it's hit or like I've had none that have, but I know other people that have had multiple like you. So, I mean, I hate to say submit a ticket, but I don't know. Did you guys hear anything else that were there? Anything? I do know this, that they are looking, creating our own things in terms of website. Those are all things that have been in the pike. And honestly, when I went to my home office trip a long time ago, that was one of the things our IT department is working out, because they understand these issues. The issue is these are all third-party vendors that they're working with. So when we're initializing or saying that there's an error like this credit card decline with that, they're pushing it out, and it's just, they recognize it's not getting fixed. I know that doesn't help your problem right now, but did you guys who were there, did you guys hear anything else that I didn't about those issues with the credit? Because I heard them mention it, but not that it was solved yet, that it was still a work in progress, which I know is not.
What they were working on was like figuring out to charge it when it's actually put in the system, so that if it's going to decline, it does so at that point, and getting that kind of approved, kind of like a pre-approval ahead of time. But I think they have like a day to put it back in again. And sometimes I think it could be your bank. If it's like a debit card or something, it could be the bank that needs to, their own personal bank, I think kind of can do that sometimes too.
And Diane
So
unfortunately didn't catch it until like 3 days later. So I think
Stephanie, I can look in to see if there was, I thought there was an email that there was some kind of an email that you could send it into to
okay.
ask them,
'Cause
but
I
I mean, you can
I
also
feel
use the
bad
chat
'cause
feature.
Yeah, they were so excited to get this box, and then I
No,
didn't catch it until it
So,
was like
but
3 days later.
but
and
they
I'm
should
like,
have gotten an
They sh-
email.
They should have
That's what I
gotten an email,
thought.
because mine got declined. My own personal box got declined, and I got an email. I would have had no idea that mine was declined. And I
okay.
literally went in and put the exact same credit card in, and it went through.
Okay,
So
because
I
that
just
happened
went-
with another stylist. Is when their credit card got declined, they did go back in and put the same exact info in, and then it ran. So that's kind of what I wondered with these two, if they would just go back in and re-put it. But like I said, it's already been past the time
past
that they,
that date.
yeah.
Yeah. And
I would-
I'll be honest, is there a way to go in and look if their credit card is actually currently being declined? Like, I don't know if that would happen until they actually run, to be able to give them a forewarning. Do you know what I mean?
Well, like I
don't
said, like
know.
a couple of days before, they had placed orders, like nail orders with the
Right.
same card. So, and that went through.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, even just for the
Oh.
subscription box, because I had
Yeah.
bought stuff
Oh.
like all over the place with that card, but yet it still declined it, which was super weird.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Yeah.
like, well, there shouldn't be any problem with this card. I used it today, but I'm just saying, I wish there was a way for us to see that they're in the VO, that it was being going to be declined or some, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what that,
Thing.
you know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
not gonna know until it's already been declined too.
Right.
No, I think that if you look on the day that it processes, like on the second later on in the day, if you just double check it, there's a status in there under your subscriptions report. It'll tell
Yeah.
you they've been
I
declined.
think maybe I should just maybe make an alarm or something to remind myself to check it
I know they're
on that
working on
day
it. though,
of every
guys.
month. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
definitely something, because then there's like the website, right? And then there's
Yeah.
the like the money third party, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we had a
Right.
website, and then it like, and I don't know why it has to be like Dar was saying, there's something with a delay, a delayed purchase. I don't know why. It's like, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
it's an issue. Obviously, they know it's an issue, but it's not.
Yeah.
If it's not getting, but for now, as I said, I would just maybe try to check it that, what is it, the second that they
Yeah.
run or whatever, and
Yeah.
kind of go from there. But
Okay.
Steph-
Thank you.
Stephanie, the other thing I would do is you can use the chat feature in the back office during office hours, and
Mhm.
you can talk to them and see, like, it might be too late this month, but
Right.
it could be that they can get them out. I don't know, but like, just use the chat feature tomorrow.
Okay. I'll try that. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Sorry.
like a telephone call. Okay. All right. So another exciting thing, and feel free to stop us at any point. Like I said, that was awesome, Stephanie. Thank you for doing that and asking questions, because this is very, very informal for us today. But obviously today or yesterday, I don't know when it was announced, but just as a reminder, we've got the new yearly catalog strategy that was, again, a lot of this was talked about towards the beginning of the year, but now we're starting to see some of these things actually come to fruition. And we are getting that yearly catalog that I think is going to be an awesome thing to have, because it allows us to create assets that can stay for the duration of a year. And I think personally, I think it's a pretty good variety of sets that are in there. Obviously they brought back some in the core catalog, because on the left-hand side, you can see, Underground Magic, and there was a couple that were brought back to be in that core catalog. And then of course we have the 4 seasonal. And so that will be, so we've got our spring, and that allows us to separate with summer. And then of course our fall, and then our winter. So that's something I was excited about. Because again, it allows us to keep things for a longer, even 6 months sometimes. With a catalog, I have them, and then if I don't use them all, right, or I get to a vendor event season and I've still got spring you know what I mean? So I think this will definitely help out. And then the seasonal catalogs, they are the same size, but they can fit right inside. So it's more of an insert versus another full catalog. So that's also something that I think is pretty good. Did anyone else that was there want to speak to like the differences between them, or rationale, or anything like that? Or any questions? I guess I should say, any questions on how they're doing the catalogs now? I will say this, some people had asked about lip. Lip right now we're staying with our consistent, what we launched with. Not to say like how Heartthrob launched with like a little Valentine's surprise, and they did the diamond dusted around the holidays. They may still do some of those things, but in the catalog, it's going to be those same SKUs that we've had. I don't know if there's any questions about that. And then
Just one,
Go
can I
ahead.
just say one thing, Amanda? The one
Yeah.
thing that I really liked about it too is that the catalog, the staple catalog that we're gonna have, the yearly catalog, is not so specific to the seasons, that it can, like, any of that stuff you can kind of use all year long, which was really nice, because I felt like when you started getting out of summer, we still just had the summer catalog, but people were looking for things for fall, or like now people are already looking for spring stuff, and there will be a little sprinkle of that in the main catalog. And then those little, maybe you already said this, but those littler ones then will kind of complement those big ones. So they're keeping that in mind when they're creating those smaller collections, so that you can kind of mix and match 2 across, instead of it being like a separate thing. I don't know, maybe that's kind of how you explained it earlier, but I really liked that it would be, that everything would really be connected in those 4 other catalogs.
What time's your thing tomorrow?
7 a.m.
Want me to go with you? Just to make sure you Don't.
All right. Um,
I thought one of them looked like Easter, one of the newer sets.
which one?
The tie-dye one kind of remind me of Easter
Oh.
egg. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, like I don't even have mine in front of me. I literally haven't even unpacked yet.
One thing I should say, like that flower one right there, we actually got that in hand. These look like they're being done with the new printer and they're beautiful. They're pretty much flawless
Oh.
with the design. They're just so pretty.
I
Yeah,
was gonna ask something. I don't know if you guys can even answer yet, but like obviously the petites they're focusing on, or they're bringing a bunch of petites. I didn't know if there was any talk about wider sets and are petty sets going to come back? Are they phasing them out? I don't know if you're able to answer that or not, but just wondered.
You know, they didn't mention either of those, honestly. Yeah. I would assume just based on previous things, right, that we might see those in like mini collections. Maybe, I don't know about the wider strips. I know those have been talked about for years.
Right, because they haven't done those yet. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as pedicures, I'm just assuming that just based on previous, mini
Yeah.
collections, that we might see them again, I'm sure, but
yeah, or potentially the summer, that
Yeah,
that might be a
That's
part
true. Yeah.
of summer versus I know
Year,
not
year
everybody's,
round, yeah.
yeah, so that might be, and I mean, the wider strips definitely talked about. I don't know. I really don't know, right? Like I'm torn because I don't sell a lot of petites. So just like, and maybe other people are different, so I do love that they're offering different. I'm just wondering like what the market would be. I know people have asked for wider strips, but I don't know. I do think wider strips would go on like fake nails a little bit better. People that use, dipped or whatever, I feel like those nails are a little bit wider. I was looking at somebody sitting next to me yesterday and they seemed a little bit wider, but yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what they're looking at now is obviously sales are down across the board, so what do they really want to introduce would be my
Yeah.
guess. And just to speak a little bit more to the strategy of this core and seasonal catalog is, there's been talk about the mini collections since, that was just brought up. Haley said, thought maybe we would get some of these things, and we might, we don't know what we're going to get. The mini collections are not going to stop, just so you guys know that, but eventually they do want to be able to pull back from those a little bit, just so we're not getting them, as often as we are right now. And some people love the mini collection. Some people I know feel overwhelmed by the mini collections. Just remember, you guys, everybody can market their business any way that they want. Somebody had shared earlier, like, I didn't really share too much about these sets, whatever these sets were, right? Until, I was ready to. So I know there's things that come out on social media and they may see them from other people, but I don't feel rushed to share anything. Some people do contact me and are like, hey, I've seen this is coming. And it's like, yeah, it's not coming for a little bit, or yeah, I was going to share it in the group, but we've got so many great things for sale right now, that I don't necessarily feel rushed to have to do that and to share everything right at the moment. But and everybody feels different. Some people love all the mini collections, but like I said, I think part of this strategy is to stay relevant with the season more, because what's good for fall is not necessarily good for winter. And same thing, I feel like for spring, like the florals we always get in spring, and then sometimes they'll stay and they're not really great sellers in the summer. So, I do love this strategy, and still being able to have holiday. I mean, we'll still have our holiday collections. And I know they still really want to do trend collections like they did with the Aurora set. And just looking at current trends and being able to, we have that ability, which is great, that we don't have to have SKUs for just 1 year. I don't mean just 1 year, but traditional retail stores purchase their SKUs typically for a year. And even if it's a variety of colors, we definitely have an advantage of being able to be a little bit more on trend. So just so you know that that's not going away. But they are looking at seeing how they can maybe do that in a little bit different way, moving forward. And as we add product. Go ahead.
Just about that, if nobody, or if you didn't get a chance, rather, I watched on my lunch today to watch today's Connect the Dots. Lisa talked a lot about like how we can sort of work with these, you know, our core catalog and everything. And she kind of said something that reminded me of what you just said, Amanda, of like, don't feel rushed to get it out there. Like I'm already seeing people sharing the new sets, and that's totally fine. Like if that's how you want to roll, great. But I can't sell them until March 14th. So it's going to stall my sales if I start talking about them now. So I'm doing teasers, and I just want to share really quickly how I booked 3 parties over the weekend. We got, as Dar mentioned, we got some of these sets, and I just did a teaser in my group of me holding a bag that had the sets in them. Now, obviously you might be like, well, I don't have that, Haley. They don't know that you don't have these right now. And a lot of us just, you know, between today and Wednesday get to order them, right? So you can get them. You could do any sort of teaser where you're saying something's in a bag. I said something like, who wants what's in this bag? And I had comment upon comment. And then I went through individually and messaged everyone who said they wanted what was in my bag, and offered them a party. And I still have 4 more people to reach out to who commented. But I got 3 parties booked from that. So, you know, if I would have just thrown up all the pictures of the sets, I wouldn't have gotten that probably, right? So just an idea as we're thinking about, you know, there's a lot that we can do in this like week or so that we have until it launches. So just some things to try to think about in terms of, you know, really maximizing the benefit of having a new catalog release. So just wanted to share that.
No, that is awesome advice. And I'm glad you said that. And that kind of takes us to this anyway. You know, why take advantage of early access? Why are they doing these? Well, we've asked for a really long time to get in for big catalog launches. They had sometimes, and some of you may be around to remember, have done bundles or different things in the past. But it's not really about getting them to us just to have or to resell. It's really about it, in my opinion, it's about getting them to be able to have them in your hands and a chance to market yourself ahead of the launch. So you know you're going to be getting them before the start. You know, you can start right today, right? Was it today? It was already started. I haven't ordered any yet. But you can order them, which I will, and I will get them here. And that now I already also like Haley and Dar, I have a couple in my hands, you know, that I'm grateful for. So I don't have to get the other ones, but just looking at them, I want them in my hands. I want to be able to share them with customers, offer them, as Haley said. That's an awesome idea. Again, no, like she said, nobody knows what you have already, right? But you know what's coming, so you can kind of tease that out. And who wants to be, you know, some people want their customer or their friends to be the first ones to be able to get these into their hands. So that's a great idea. And it's a great reason to connect. So I know for me, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but me personally in my own business, my focus for this year, first and foremost, is to get back to a couple of things. One, building relationships. And me posting this graphic of, sorry, can you guys hear that, or is it just me? Oh, there we go. Okay. You know, me posting this graphic is going to do absolutely nothing for my business other than share with my group what's coming. And as Haley said, we can't even sell them yet. We're getting some good assets, right? But getting these in our hands and even doing your own nail fees with it. I mean, you might think, well, my nail fees aren't as great as some of the ones. I mean, trust me, I'm no classy claws by any stretch. But I do love having them. I love having my group help me to pick them. That's going to get their excitement very early on, and getting those people who want to share a link with their friends, who want to maybe host a traditional party or a non-traditional. I mean, we talked a lot about different ideas, and there's, you know, all kinds of ideas for ways for people to share. And some of those are things we're going to be sharing this weekend, but getting back to building those relationships. And to me, business basics is going to be such a focus for me this year. And it all goes back to building relationships, getting connections with people, getting referrals, however that looks. It doesn't have to be a traditional party, but getting these out that they're allowing us to get in our hands ahead of time is awesome. I mean, I've shared so many pictures of the jellies. I love them. I'm wearing them myself right now. But I liked, I haven't bought every single one ahead of time, but I'm starting to more and more see the value of why I maybe would want some of these. Not, I don't need to buy all of them, but I might get a couple, just a new solid and a new, maybe one from each category or something like that, that I really want to share. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it as well, is to allow us to start getting these things, creating assets, and just really marketing them however we want to market them by launch time. Because sometimes in the past, it's like, and we already get this for many collections, it's like, boom, here's a launch, and we don't necessarily have sometimes time to really be able to think about that set and who might like that set. And then we just start posting, right? And it's not really doing anything instead of reaching out to people and saying like, I think this color would look awesome. Or I know you like purple. Or this totally looks like you with this geometric design. Your nails are always on trend. Just a little comment like that with a picture to somebody personally would mean a lot. And you don't have to be asking them to host, but you can just be sharing something that you think that they would love.
Jessica commented, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I can't see.
Jessica commented that she heard one of the ideas that came up was using a sticky note to point out a certain set in the catalog when you send it to someone and say, I think this would be really good for you. And just like that sticky note, I know I write in my catalog sometimes about parties and things like that, but just like that sticky note kind of is a little call out, and it just called attention to it. And you do have a question about, do you think they'll bring the bundles back? Don wanted to know.
Yeah, I don't, Dawn. I think this is the strategy that they're going to, because you have the ability to choose what you want. In bundles in the past have been like, I know in the past, and they've done them all kinds of different ways. But I know the most recent ones that come to mind are like, you can get a solid bundle or a glitter bundle or an altogether bundle. And they really feel like the purpose behind them is to get them into the hands of the stylists who want them, and not necessarily need them to be discounted, right? Because you could turn around and sell them. You're selling them for full price, or you should be selling them most often at full price. So it's not necessarily about, from home office's perspective, about getting them to us at a discount, but more so giving everybody a choice. Just if you want to purchase early, again, you don't have to. One of the benefits is some of the ones that we've had access to that I didn't, or it may have just slipped my mind and I completely forgot about it. I remember on one of them, it's nice to have other stylist nail fees come out. Like, those are the best, I feel like. Like we were talking about that. Some of those, as opposed to some of the assets, where we can really see the nails, are something that I think we all in the field like to share, or at least I see a lot of people sharing. So I don't think that's going to be coming back. And they've shifted strategies multiple times. So I think they're going to see how successful this is. I know leader wise, we were all really excited for the most part at just being able to get these in our hands ahead of time. And even on some of the mini launches, because before we only would do bundles on full catalogs. So I think we maybe did a holiday one, or we were able to earn one time, but it was really just these big catalog launches. And since we're doing these minis, I think it'll make sense to not feel like people have to invest, $100, and they could do a buy three, get one if they wanted to. So I don't know if you guys had heard any different, but that was kind of the thought process that I remember hearing. Okay, one other thing that I want to talk about, and then we're just going to kind of open it up and share a little bit. We've already each kind of shared just a little bit here and there, but anything that really resonated with us. One of the things is, I had shared that we had gotten the bundles. Well, it wasn't really a bundle. It's not the same thing that we're getting, but we kind of got to sample, those of us that were at Summit. Got to sample some of the products, and then we got a little 4-pack. So we got a highlighter, there's balm and powder, bronzer, blush. I don't know. I haven't really gotten into it clearly. I haven't even opened my bag yet. But they're going to be, and this is something also I was excited about, because if you were here when we launched lip, we really didn't have a whole lot of information ahead of time. And lipstick, it might sound, like, well, it's just lipstick, right? But for me, I'm not a lipstick wearer, or I wasn't. I've gotten better about wearing it and I like it. I just never really did, to be honest. But in terms of what's in the ingredients and their, is it clean? I know that's a big thing in the makeup world, is it clean? And just some of the different things I didn't know, like I didn't even know layering really. And I remember a stylist showing like how to apply and do the pencil. And I was like, I didn't know that either. And I know I can look those things up, but they really want to educate us ahead of new product launches. And so they're doing it with Cheek, which is really exciting. So they've got a series of 4 coming this month on Tuesday trainings. One is going to be about the product itself, just basics about the product, the technology behind it, where it's manufactured, why they chose certain things with it, the types of products that we're getting. You may not know the difference between balms and powders, and I mean, I really don't. I can figure out the baseline premise, but they may be used for different things. So product is going to be first, and then how to apply, and then how to teach someone else. Again, you don't have to be a makeup artist. What I learned just at the little event they did where they let us try some things, I learned enough to be able to share with someone else. And I mean, really, people that are trying this product may already be familiar, and that will just be something that is a learning process for all of us that are, sharing it. And even if it's not our thing, I don't see the downside in sharing new product. Did that come out right? I don't see the downside. I think they came out right. Even if it's not your thing and you are here with Color Street for the nail strips, I still would say market the new stuff. It doesn't have to be the primary thing, but this eventually will capture some people that were not necessarily wearers of the, the nail strips, that they may find something else, want to support a friend, want to support you. So just learning about it is definitely something that I think is really, really useful. So please, please, please invest the time. And then that last call is just going to be about pulling it all together and just kind of a cohesive, this is how we're going to be rolling this out. So this obviously is coming this month. But again, I'm not sharing this with my customers. I'm not sharing it until I start to learn more about it. I might tease it out a little bit. But I'm focusing on spring first, like 100%. I'm focusing on that first, and then really just trying to learn a little bit more before I start to share out. So did you guys have anything to say about the Color Street University piece?
Amanda, you said the first Tuesday training will be about the product and then how to apply. What was the third one?
How to teach someone else.
Okay.
And then
Pulling
pulling
it all together. Okay, thanks.
Something that Carol Ann, I just thought, I love what you said about that the cosmetics are manufactured in Korea. They did note a little bit about I don't know. I'm actually afraid to say maybe I shouldn't say what I was gonna say because I'm paranoid. Like, but yes, I'll just
go ahead.
Well, just about how they're looking at it from our products and they're looking for the best places to manufacture depending on the products. Do you think that's okay to say?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean,
that's
I worked in the beauty industry for 15, 20 years. And I know that the most expensive and most exclusive beauty products were manufactured in Korea because they have really strict standards and the highest standards for clean ingredients. If you guys knew what some of the American cosmetic manufacturers allow in your ingredients, you would stop using the products. I'm talking things like ground up beetle wings for color and just stuff that I would not want to put on my face. And Korea, when something is manufactured in Korea, they have the strictest guidelines for ingredient standards in the world. And some of the most expensive cosmetics out there are coming from Korea. And the fact that ours are coming from Korea and they're at a very reasonable, affordable price point is amazing.
Thank you for sharing that, because that is that is something that I'm learning. I think we all are learning, but it's awesome to hear from somebody who knows the industry. So I only know what they've told us, and what Haley said is exactly right. And Caroline, thank you so much, because I didn't realize that, and I've never put that much thought into makeup, to be honest. But it will drive people who are conscious about that. And I think it's a much bigger group probably than what we think. Would you agree, Carolyn?
Absolutely. I mean, I suffer from Hashimoto's, and I am extremely sensitive to chemicals and certain ingredients. So when I see something is manufactured in Korea, I know I'm not going to have any kind of reactions to it. And there are a lot of people out there, when we're talking about autoimmune diseases, you've got to be very, very vigilant about what you put on your skin and what you put in your body. And so that is one thing that I'm super proud of when I share the cosmetics, because you don't have to worry about that.
That is really good to know.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, when I started working in the beauty industry, like I just found out I was a longtime Clinique wearer, and I have this app that you can scan the barcode and it tells you if there's any hazardous or iffy ingredients. And I found out that this moisturizer I had been using for 2.5 years, slathering it all over my neck and face, had a really dangerous chemical in it that is an inhibitor of thyroid function. And here I am in the middle of hypothyroidism, and I'm slathering this thing that can cause imbalances and surges. And I went through a huge surge, and I'm like wondering, did that have anything to do with it? So I've gotten real vigilant, and Korean products are like the gold standard in the world of beauty. They really are. So I'm super excited that our things are manufactured there. That speaks to Mr. Park's quest for excellence. It really does.
That's awesome. That just gave me chills, because again, as somebody who doesn't, who did not know that and have heard that, it's awesome to know. And those, you guys, these are all things we're going to be learning, and that's part of the reason for really making sure that you're checking this information out and learning, because I think it's really important to be able to share some of those things. But I just saw someone's hand go up. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I don't have everybody's picture in front of me. Is someone's hand up?
This is Gail Brady. I
Oh.
was just going to comment when you were talking about the Korean makeup. I'm half Korean, my mother's full Korean. She always bragged, and her sisters did, about how great Korean makeup was. And now I'm realizing with the lipstick products and everything else that is coming, and my sister as well, that it is the best product you could get.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to add that
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
and the fact that our lipsticks are $22, and I was a beauty concierge for Nordstrom. So part of my job was to test everything, because I had to know about every line. And I put our lipsticks up against the top of the line. I'm talking lipsticks at $75, $80, $100. They have the wearability, they have the slip, they have the intense color, they feel amazing on your lips, and they're long lasting. That's something really, really amazing.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the site called Leaping Bunny, but it's a site where you can check out the clean products. And Color Street is listed as a company that's it's been certified, Leaping Bunny certified since 2022. And you might have
That's
people,
awesome.
you might have people ask about it. I wasn't familiar with what Leaping Bunny does, but people have asked, so I looked it up.
Yeah, I use a app that I just found called Yucca. It's YUKA. It's a phone app. It's free. It's an independent company, and you can scan food items and beauty items. And I'm telling you, it has been life-changing. It is scary to think, like, I went in to buy new sunscreen and I started scanning. I scanned every single sunscreen at CVS, and even the ones that are for babies were rated bad. Like, I'm talking, the highest one was 32 out of 100. And it's because most of them had known carcinogenic products, ingredients in their product. I found one sunscreen that got 100 out of 100, and I've been using it ever since. So Yucca is another great tool to take with you into CVS or any department store you're buying beauty products. That's where I found out about the moisturizer. I was shocked. I mean, I literally, my mouth just dropped, because I was like, how can they get away with putting something in there that can disrupt your thyroid function? Like, that's insane. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Sorry about this, the side, the sidebar here, but that's one of the things that I'm thrilled about, that our cosmetics are held to such high standards.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. And it's important to also share, like, we have two research and development facilities. We have one in New Jersey where our home office is, and then we have one in South Korea. So it's our manufactured products, but then produced and manufactured in these manufacturing facilities that have these extremely high standards. So that's one thing important, because I know some companies will, take product from somebody else and slap their name on it. And that is not the case. So we are being produced with some very, very high-end cosmetics at a fraction of the price. And part of that is, again, we're the ones behind, producing those. So that's another important piece in how it connects to, being manufactured, and also to going to Germany. They have very strict standards with direct sales. So I actually thought it was the opposite. I thought it was like the easiest place that we were going to go to first, but it's not. So that helps us to branch out in Europe. And it's just great to be able to say I work for a worldwide company, right? Like right now we're North America. It's going to be really exciting to say that, and to be able to share that we're part of a global brand. But I love that. Thank you. All right. Was there anyone who was there that wanted to share something specific, some takeaway? So I had a couple. I love that idea about booking. And then when Jessica had shared that, so thank you, Dar, for pointing that out about the sticky note. I also wrote that tip down. But was there anything that we wanted to share that caught our eye, or that we really remember that might be something that shared? And just so you know, again, we're kind of coming together as leaders with what we have learned and figuring out the best way to share all the things that we did, because we didn't want to overwhelm in one call. But it is something we're thinking about for this month, is really finding a way to kind of share more of these things that we learned, because it's not going to help anybody if we're keeping it. And some of it's just information we get from those conversations. There were a lot of panels that were awesome. We always get great ideas shared with panels. So just know we do have more information coming. This just came so quick after Summit that we wanted to keep the call, but just kind of share some pieces here and there. So anybody have something specific that they wanted to shout out or share, I should say?
Okay, I'll go first really quickly. Was just a quote that Mr. Park said, and it was like the very first thing that I wrote down in my notebook. And he was this example for like what was sort of happening in 2020 during the pandemic, when we saw such a surge in in the need for a product, right? But then even if you've joined after that, like if you're new, right, like it can kind of relate to that as well. And he said, he used the example of like during 2020, fish were just jumping onto the boat. Like we didn't need to try very hard. Like people were just coming at us, right? And he said, now we need to fish. And I think that can even relate to sometimes when people get started in the business, even if they've joined after that, right? Like a lot of times there's that big surge in the beginning because it's new and, people are excited, you're sharing it, and the fish are just jumping on the boat, right? But really, like, it's such a great analogy because like we have to fish, right? We have to find those people. And I loved hearing that like straight from Mr. Park's mouth. And he said that like that was one of the first things that he said. So that was just a huge takeaway for me. Because even for myself, right? Like it allowed me to sort of reflect on my own business. And I am ready to fish. So I hope we have lots of fishermen who are ready to fish and make it a great 2023.
Let's go fishing.
Yes.
It's gonna be our motto, Haley.
I love it. Yes. Oh, I love it. Carol Ann said that too. Let's go fishing,
Yeah,
ladies.
oh, there we go.
There's plenty of fish out there, right? You guys have all heard that, that analogy with relationships, right? But it can be used for nail polish too. There are plenty of people out there who don't know about Color Street, who, need that connection, who we can offer something incredible to.
Yeah, and they were sharing some stats too, of just, they're doing some studies because they're looking at, how to brand and, rebrand and really get our name out there as we're starting to add new pieces to our, our current very successful brand. And it is alarming how many people do not even know about Color Street. I know it feels that way because around you, that your people know, or you may be, I'm in an area where there are a lot of stylists. I mean, there at one point I think there was like 5 or 6 in my very, very small sub. And I have lots of leaders around me as well, and just teammates and whatever, and I love that piece of it, and I've never felt like it's inhibited me at all. But the statistics are there. Like there's a lot of people out there that are not familiar with Color Street. So definitely. And we know there's a lot of people who don't have a stylist anymore, because we were a huge community of stylists that, when people needed to find something else to do. And it's super hard, to think about different things that have occurred over the last couple of years, because there's been so many crazy things happening in the world. But, there are people out there too that don't have stylists. So thinking about that, and how you can really expand your brand this year. I know one of my takeaways was really focusing on you and your story and your branding. I remember early on someone had said, like, you want them to think about when they're looking at their nails or thinking about whatever, product you're associated with, you want them associating that with you. And I know for my customers, they see carrot cake and think of me. When they see pizza, I clearly like food, they think of me. Like, I'll get messages, I get tagged in a lot of posts, like they know more than just Color Street about me. And they know I have a family and we like to try different people. Like, they know all the different things about me. So it's important to make sure that you're really marketing yourself as much as the product. That was, I know, one of my big takeaways, and something that we could even share in like a full training that one of our field managers had shared with us over the weekend. But thank you, Haley, for sharing that. I love that fish analogy. All right, who else has something that they would like to share? I know we're over 9 o'clock, so I don't want to take up too much more time, but I did want to just kind of let everyone have a voice and see what else they wanted to share.
Can we share about website technology improving?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know when or what, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of the training things, and one of the things that Peggy had talked about coming out was something we've been asking for, a Canva scrolling party for assets, right?
Yeah.
Don't
So,
know when that's coming out.
but well, they've already been trying to do some things in Canva, which is great. I actually kind of forgot about that. I wasn't sure what technology pieces we were talking about, but
Sorry.
No, that's fine. But yeah, they are really, really working to get things that we can insert ourselves. And I think that ties right along with what I was just saying of marketing yourself along with the product, because what they provide us now, as we know, is, pretty much just the assets with the Color Street brand, so without having to do too much of our own work, they're definitely trying to help us to think outside the box and provide that. So yeah, thank you for reminding me that I totally forgot. I'm trying to flip through my notes. I've got so many things in here.
That's what I was just doing. I was like, oh, that's good
I
to,
know. I
to
need to
know.
get organized. Someone had shared this. This was kind of cool. So this is one of my ideas that I took away. They called it 333. So there was a point in which just stylists were sharing, and they had asked 3 VIPers to each invite 3 people, and they gave them like a product to test. So it could be a twosie that you give to them that they do. Remember when, and some of you who are new, I shouldn't even say remember when, but like the Color Street Challenge, where you put the twosie on one nail and you paint the other nails with traditional polish, and they can post their first picture. They can post 2 days later or 5 days later or 10 days later, posting that into your VIP group. And maybe gifting them something else at the end if you want, or giving them a $5 gift card to apply to their next purchase. I love that we can send gift cards. That's not too overwhelming for me to send something like that, because I can send them a code. It could be a bigger thing that you could get them to try, or smaller, but I would say the twosie's a great way to start asking. I know you love the product, but it's been a while since I've had some customers do a real Color Street challenge where they test traditional polish versus Color Street. Would you be open to being in a challenge, and then maybe making it a contest between those 3 VIPers? Who gets the most comments under theirs, or something like that, something that can help with engagement. But they also would be responsible for inviting 3 friends, which doesn't seem overwhelming. And then making 3 posts in your group. So they called it, and you could do it any number, but I liked that number of 333. So asking three VIPers to test something, could be a twosie, with a, Color Street challenge, asking them to invite 3 friends, and then making 3 different posts. And you could even have them make one on their personal page. So I know that was an idea that stuck out to me, that again, asking 3 customers does not seem more. If you're new, oh my gosh, if you're new, that's what I would ask for, our product testers. Ask your friends and family. I am brand new with Color Street. I am so excited to share a product that I love, but I do want to make sure my friends and family also love this product. I think you will. I don't know if you've tried it, but would you be open to being a product tester and giving me your honest opinion?
That's a great idea to do with the subscription box too. I just started doing that with some of them last week.
Like a challenge stuff?
It wasn't so much a challenge. I just personally messaged them all and said if they would share an honest review on my personal page and tag me, and then also in my VIP group, then I would send them like a goodie.
Yeah. I love that. And having them do the post, people that post a great nail fee, you can ask them to post on their personal page and tag you, or just give an honest review and say, do you mind if I interact with the people? If you get comments, do you mind if I interact with your friends and family? Right? Like asking them that, but that's an awesome idea with a subscription box. So thank you for sharing that. But yes, you guys, there's so many ideas. There was really, honestly, a lot of the big things, like when they talked about cheek, we know that's coming. I can tell you I believe there's going to be 12 SKUs. I just had that somewhere. I could just get out my brochure here. But I'm pretty sure there's 12. Yes. So, and again, those are things that will be able to be fitting in our catalog along with our core pieces, and not this catalog, obviously it's not in there, but definitely tune in to the Color Street University and check that out. I think I'm hoping it's going to be really helpful. I know I'm excited about it. But like I said, we do plan on some other things this month. We just have not wrapped our brains around some of the things that we do want to share a little bit, not necessarily formally, might be in lives or whatever, but make sure you're in Beautifully Polished and tuned in, you guys. I promise you, we will be sharing some really great. This month, we are focusing on back to basics, and some of the things that we're doing, we're going to be sharing. That was one of my takeaways, is like, do you share what you do? And sometimes I don't. I hear something, or I remember something I've done in the past, and then I do it in my own VIP group or messaging with my own customers, and I forget to share And that's why it's such a powerful community. Is it doesn't have to be me sharing, it can be you sharing, sharing with a teammate, sharing with your upline, sharing with your downline, sharing with a sideline sister, posting it. We've got team pages. Beautifully Polished is where we really want to do a lot of these bigger things through. And obviously some of us have some smaller team pages, but definitely tune in because we really want to funnel a lot of our powerful brain resource and time into this group so everybody can benefit. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I know we ran over and it wasn't as organized and fun as Debbie is. I know we definitely miss her. She'll be home soon from her trip. But thank you guys so much. Is there anything else here in closing?
I just had a question. You said that the seasonal catalogs are going to be the same size as the regular catalogs, or are they going to be more like the mini catalogs, like what the little inserts that come when you buy nails, or the lip color catalog, like the mini catalogs?
They're not many. Dar, do you have yours handy? I don't even have mine in front
I
of me.
don't, it's still in my suitcase. I haven't unpacked.
Right.
But
haven't
it's
either.
the
They're
same-
the
they're
same
both the
size.
same
It's
size?
just-
Okay,
It's just, it's like a trifold thing.
okay, all right.
And
So
it
it's like
can-
an
it can
insert that
fit
can
inside,
go into the
but
year
The
catalog.
catalog is bigger too.
Oh,
they
the catalog's bigger?
It's not bigger in size. It's like more pages.
Oh, okay, all right, because I was gonna be like, so what envelope can we use to send them out then?
Nope.
Okay,
It's not heavier. I will say that. So you can use a
good.
stamp to send that in the insert. They did note that.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's
interesting.
amazing.
I didn't hear that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's
Um,
great.
so
Thank you so much.
I wish I would have thought ahead and unloaded that, but we'll post a picture. But yeah, it's really comparable to our current one in terms of the size. And yes, the seasonal will be a full size insert, but you can put it right inside and you really can't see the difference. So it's not something that's going to get lost with it, which is nice, but you'll be able to just put right in there.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else?
The catalog is available for sale. I don't know if people saw that or not.
Right now?
Yep, it's in the back office.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I have
see
to
that-
look.
see that
I
either.
didn't even realize that.
The spring inserts are there too.
Oh,
darn.
oh my gosh.
Sure.
Thank you for that, Dar. I didn't know. Usually they wait until after everything's launched before the catalogs.
Yeah,
come out.
shoot, I would have put them on my order, darn it.
I know.
I looked just in case, but I didn't think, I put it out, but I don't know where I put it out.
Oh man, that's
It's been a crazy
awesome.
day, so.
I had no idea either. I was actually waiting for someone to say, when did the catalogs? And I was
I'll be
gonna
darned.
say probably on launch day, like they always do.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. All
Yeah,
right.
good night,
Thank
everybody.
you guys for all the
So,
information.
San Diego
All right.
next year. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.